think there's a very strong and healthy tension between trying to keep what's sacred and historical and old and bring in the new. With that, the theme of refugees it has a place in that discussion because as a country, we're at this moment where what we used to know to be very true and very basic about our country might be changing.
I'm Emily O'Neill, I'm FPAC's Executive Director. Thank you all for joining us. Anne Hirsch and Jeremy Angier, who are the artists who created SOS, Safety Orange Swimmers, behind us. FPAC has a 12-year history of floating funded public art, but this is designated as the Floating Art Basin by the City of Boston, and the purpose is really to engage the public in conversations about public art that might be happening here.
Yeah, I think it started out as more of a sort of a statement, but then as we sort of developed the idea, we just sort of backed away and just said, okay, we're just going to put a sort of a blank slate there for people to make of it whatever they will.
We began this project with questions about how water could play an important role in the project and how we could use the art basin as a dramatic stage for the installation.
This seemed like the ideal site for something that would respond to the tides, to the weather, the wind, and the light.
We realized at the outset that the water provided a unique opportunity to talk about the global refugee crisis.
We started thinking more generally about refugees and about migration over time, and not just about the refugees who are crossing the Mediterranean now. We then chose to use the human figure more symbolically, so we wouldn't be referring to any specific group of people. We had been seeing images like these in the media for the past couple of years. Overcrowded boats of refugees, beaches strewn with discarded inner tubes and orange life vests, people swimming in distress, and even people drowning.
Over 4,700 migrants and refugees have drowned trying to reach Europe in 2016. Throughout the project, we had a real push and pull between the political and the aesthetic. Our first idea was to create a big sculpture of people clinging to a sinking boat. We were struck by how much this image from the media recalled The Raft of the Medusa by Theodore Géricault, which is a narrative painting about a real event. The situation in the Mediterranean Sea is just this dire right now.
The movements of groups of birds has been a recurring theme in this project. The swimmers stay in pretty tight formation. They still have some independent movement. So they seem to be flocking a bit like water birds. The two of us had always wanted to collaborate on a kinetic sculpture, and this seemed like the ideal site for something that would respond to the tides. It's a very exciting time for public art in Boston, and we were certainly excited ourselves by the idea of being able to float something in the art basin. And that the city welcomes these installations really says a lot about the strength of the community here. And we're honored to have been able to participate in the Floating Public Art Project.